Hello my lovely, Sophia here. Today's video is going to be connecting with Marilyn Monroe. Now, Marilyn Monroe died a couple of years before I was born, so I don't really know a lot about her, but she came through to me. She has been coming through to me sort of on and off for most of June, and then when I looked up about her today to ask questions to her, put questions to her about various stages in her life and her death, I did see that her birthday was the 1st of June. She was born on the 1st of June, so that might be why she'd start to come through. She obviously has something that she wants to say. I don't know what. When I say that people, sort of spirits, will start presenting themselves to me, wanting me to do a reading on them, I don't go into asking them there and then. It's like they will come to me, then I will sort of forget about it, get on with life, doing other things. And then, especially if it is people who've had musical careers, then I put the radio on and the first song I hear is theirs. And I think, oh yeah, I was going to do a reading on such and such. And the same with, like with Marilyn. Like I say, for several weeks, she's sort of been coming into my energy, but I haven't really thought much about it. And then sort of something cropped up that was in my face, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, perhaps I should do a reading. So that's why I'm doing a reading. Anyway, I'm going to be looking at sort of childhood to death. But just to remind you that this video is for entertainment purposes only. It is my alleged opinion. I don't go into the other readers' energies. I haven't watched any other videos. I don't know what other people have said or what they got through. Take what you will from this. In the description box is a list of services that I provide if any of those are of interest to you. Also above is a link to other celebrities that I've done that have passed away. And also I am a methodical shuffler, so I do shuffle quite slowly, methodically, so I speed up the shuffling to keep the video short. Now, I have written out quite a few questions here over her life, sort of looking at various points, and just going to pull a few cards for each one, so that it doesn't become long and boring, but also just seeing what we get out in general with response to the questions about certain periods in her life. Okay, so let's get started. So Marilyn, you were born as Norma Jean, another surname, I didn't write that down, sorry, but because you were known as Norma Jean before you were Marilyn Monroe, you were born in 1926. You were an American actress, model and singer, and a sex symbol in the 50s and 60s. So let's just connect with what Marilyn wants to say to us first of all before I go into the questions. Okay, so first of all, she is coming through saying thank you for the opportunity of me bringing her through. She has wanted to come through, she is saying, so she's saying hello. Yes, okay, this isn't like my celebration card, so she is saying about acknowledging that it has been, you know, what would have been her Earth birthday, her physical birthday here, and that's why she came around me. Okay, it's just that I was being drawn to the girl on here with the white dress. And that is one of the questions that I've got. So just like coming through here. I forgot to mention as well to those of you who are new here to my channel that when I do the spirit messages, I hear spirit when I'm doing readings a bit like through a spirit box. If you listen to any spirit box readings, it's like sometimes one word or a couple of words. I use the cards just for the pictures. Okay, I'm not going by what the cards are at all. It's just the pictures that they I use like doing a movie, if you get what I mean. The pictures are what speaks to me to promote what they are saying to me, if you get what I mean, because I'm going off their energy. We're all energy, even if our physical body is not here. Okay, energy cannot be destroyed. Energy will always be, everything is energy, whether you're physically here or not. This desk is energy. Okay, so that's how I connect with spirit, is through their energy. In the just going off subject here, in the George Michael video, his actual orb appeared on the video, which was amazing, because I've not had that in any other reading. So I really enjoyed that one. So carrying on, sorry, Marilyn. Okay, she is here saying as well that she loves her fans. She is saying she knows that most of the people from her era are either older or passed on, but there are still some Marilyn fans around there, she's saying. And she loves you all. She's sending her love to us. Okay, one more, Marilyn. Despite what was said and rumours and gossip, she's saying there. Okay, so Marilyn, my lovely, I want to come to your childhood. You had spent most of it in various foster homes, even an orphanage. Your mother was diagnosed with mental health problems, and a lot went on in your childhood years. So what do you have to say about those childhood years? Anything regarding that? Yeah, a very lonely time. A very lonely time. Wanting freedom from some of the places where she was, wanting to get away from a lot of the places that she was, foster homes and the orphanage, didn't want to be there. The legal process, she's saying, the legal process of the sort of how she was farmed out and what was going on. She may have even, I get the feeling like with this liberation card, that she may have actually run away from a couple of places there, but I don't know that myself. I haven't read anything about that, but she's given me that feeling of, you know, I didn't want to be there, may have run away a couple of times. Yeah, again with this sort of freedom, again they both got sort of the horses galloping on these cards, so the horse there and the horses there, so sort of taking action in not wanting to be there at all. And again, which child would you would prefer to be with? Your parents. Neglect, abuse, punish, control and cruelty. So again, I feel that she did sort of, the only thing I read was that she was fostered many times, orphanage, and her mother's parents' situation, but also that she was sort of left to her own devices a lot, and she would go to the cinema, and that's where she sort of got the interest in films. But again, this sort of neglect, punished if she ran off, and that sort of cruelty, if you like, as well. Okay. So, not a very pleasant childhood at all. And you married, or you met James Doherty at 16 years old in 1942. You married him in 1942 at a young age. He was posted to the South Pacific in 44, and you moved in with your in-laws whilst he went there, and you worked in a munitions factory because it was sort of wartime. What do you have to say on that? What about your marriage to James, first of all? Yeah, lonely, emotional, not very happy there. In the marriage itself, she's saying. Yes, working in working. She was working. Yes, working. Okay. The work was. She used the word mundane. I heard mundane. Marriage. Yes, her marriage. She was married to James. Broken hearts. Not. She's saying. Oh. Okay. A bit. She's saying because of the marriage, of how it ended, but also of because she was away from her home area, I think she's trying to say. Is that what you're trying to say? Just bring through one of these. The family, yeah. Okay, it's like that sense of I was away from him. I'm getting several things through. She's sort of saying because I was away from him, but also because he was stationed away, but also with his family, and also that I feel that she was the one who broke his heart, again in the commitment and the marriage here. Okay, let's keep that one there. War, yes, war, man-made disaster or chemicals, but again she's saying through the war there. Okay, the munitions factory for war, during the war, there. Okay, Marilyn. So, my lovely, in late 44, you met David Conover, who was shooting a morale-boosting pictures of female workers. Although your pictures weren't used, you quit the factory in January 45 to start modelling for him and his friends. And in August 45, you had signed a contract with a modelling agency. The agency deemed you more suitable for pin-up rather than fashion modelling. And to make yourself more employable, you straightened your hair and dyed it blonde. Okay, so what do you have about that? About the modelling time. Okay, yes, it was an income. There was an income from it. But she felt that she felt trapped by it, but she tried to be strong through it. It was like she was wanting more than what she was getting at the time in that modelling. Okay, it wasn't as big as it was in later years, she's saying here. Okay. With this one here, it enabled her. It was the roots, she's saying, the roots of what was to come. You know, so it was the seed, if you like, the root that led to the career she did have. Yeah, work, it was work, occupation there. So it was work, which she was grateful for, she's saying. And she liked the attention. She liked the attention that it gave her of, you know, modelling and being that sort of pin-up. Although this says like a vehicle and that it does have road, track, path, trail, so she's just saying she's bringing this through for it, put her on the road and on track for her career. Okay, so coming to in June 46, you signed a contract with an acting agency but failed to impress at screen tests. But on August 46, Zanuck a gentleman called Zanuck, gave you a standard 6-month contract to avoid you being signed up by a rival studio. And Ben Lyon gave you the name Marilyn after Marilyn Miller, and you used Monroe from your mother's maiden name. In September 46, you divorced James. So what about the first sort of acting? How did you feel about that? You didn't really impress anybody and it was just sort of a standard contract. Let's look at that first. Yeah, she felt disappointed, a bit stabbed in the back, a little bit disappointed there. She's saying, I knew I could have done better. I wasn't being taken how I wanted to be taken, she's saying. Okay, so what about your the Marilyn part, the name Marilyn Monroe? Yes, very creative. She liked that. It was beneficial. It was a better name, she's saying, than Norma Jean. Okay. And what about your divorce to James? Yes, it wasn't... it was because he wasn't too happy about it, she's saying, but it had sort of run its course. Anything else on that you want to say? Let's come to these. Yeah, because she was now being more independent, he didn't really like that. So it was sort of she keeps saying it was me. It was me. Again, she's just flashed back that broken heart there as well, that she broke his heart in a way. Okay, I'm trying to get through these quickly because I do have quite a few. So during the first 6-month contract at Fox, you learnt a lot, and in February 47 you were given your first film roles, which were just bit parts in various movies. The studio also enrolled you in an acting school. However, despite your enthusiasm, your teachers thought you were too shy and insecure to have an acting future, and Fox did not renew your contract in August 47. How did you feel about that? It was a very stressful time, especially because she thought that the acting would give her more financial security. It made her, with the beauty, sort of reflect on, so stressful time, thought it was going to lead to bigger things. She felt foolish. She's drawing me to that foolish card, and the beauty, like sort of that questioning herself. You know, I've changed my image. I've changed my name. You know, it seemed to be going in the right direction, but then didn't. Let's just bring in... Yeah, started to cause anxiety. That sort of anxiety came back in because she thought that was going to be it. That, you know, I've done my modelling. I've been now into the studios, the acting. I'm pretty. Things are going to take off. And then it didn't. At that time, she's saying. Drama, panic, struggle, arguments. But she's just saying, you know, it was a panic situation that caused that anxiety, and it was a struggle, much of a struggle there. Okay, so back to modelling, doing odd jobs at film studios. You also entertained influential male guests at studio functions, and to cut a long story short, was signed up in March 48 to Columbia Pictures. Your look was modelled on Rita Hayworth and your hair bleached platinum blonde. But you only had one small role and your contract was not renewed again in September 48. How did you feel about that? Another blow there, Marilyn. Again, a lot of anxiety there, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. Yeah, it seemed with the man holding coin, it was, it's like she's given me that card as in the control that her life was. She was always controlled by men. They always held the money. They always, you know, she had the big, you know, Fox and then Columbia. She's saying it was always like my life was always in the role of men's, which she is saying, you know, for that time it was a, you know, was male dominated era. A little bit of resentfulness, she's saying, a little bit of resentment, because of her life was in their hands, she's saying. Well-known, famous and celebrity. She was saying, as I was shuffling then, she was saying, I had made all these changes, changed my name, changed my look, thinking that it would, you know, following what she was being told to do, she's saying, by these high up men, you know, the producers, the companies, the film companies, etc., thinking that she was going to be well known and famous, which she was in the end, she's saying, but she's saying at that time it was another blow. Yeah, just feeling discarded and thrown out like trash there. Okay. So another low blow to you there. So back to modelling. You did a beer commercial, you did artistic nude photos for a calendar using Mona Monroe as your name. You had previously posed topless so you felt comfortable with nudity. What do you say about that? Yeah, it was... She's saying it made people talk, but it was sort of that posing. Like this fool is posing. Not saying fool for her, but the posing, the modelling. Again, it was not a lot of money, but it was money, she's saying here. She was judged a lot and there was a lot of pressure that she was under, but she still felt trapped. She's saying it still wasn't what I still felt like trapped because I knew that I could give so much more. And I was being thrown around like trash, you know, discarded, thinking I was doing my best and then thrown on the pile again, thrown back into modelling and that. Okay. During 49, 50 and 51, you had various acting parts, and in 1950 was back at Fox. You had various relationships in this time and then met Joe DiMaggio, a retired baseball star, in early 52. So just a few cards on that sort of era, how you felt in the 49, 50 and 51, various acting parts. Let's look at that first. Yeah, a lot of decisions made in that time. A lot of to-ing and fro-ing, she's saying there. What about relationships at that time? Okay, feeling good. Felt good about the relationships. Was because I was noticed, she's saying. Because I was noticed, I felt like, okay, this... She is saying I felt a bit like a trophy on men's arms at the time as well. But she was fine with it. She's saying she was fine with it. And what about meeting Joe? Yes, married to Joe. Was contented to. was happy to. Okay, she's saying a lot of sort of sexual energy between them there. Okay. Okay. So you met him in early 52. So in March 52, there was a public scandal regarding your nude calendar photos in 49. But the sort of studio, if you like, engineered it well. So you gained public sympathy and interest. Anything on sort of that? On the scandal, a very emotional time. It was a very up and down time. She's saying a lot of negativity around over the photos here. Bring me in one of these. Yeah, okay, she's saying, yeah, intervention. The studio intervened and it was fine. Okay, she doesn't want me to go on anymore with that. Okay, so in 52, still in 52, a turbulent year, various roles, but dubbed difficult to work with because you were either late, you didn't show up at all, you forgot your lines, demanded retakes, etc. These problems were put down to perfectionism, being a perfectionist, low self-esteem and stage fright. To alleviate this, you started on pharmaceutical drugs and alcohol, but it made it worse, and other factors in your personal life. So what do you say sort of about that time in your life, the being difficult to work with? Yes, she's saying I was a little bit hot-headed, but okay, she's sort of saying because I knew I was good, but I wasn't being taken seriously. So in a way, she's saying I didn't take them seriously. I was sort of, if they were messing me around, I was messing them around. So a little bit of a tit for tat energy she's given me there on that. Okay. She keeps drawing me to these cards over here that I didn't have planned to use. So let's see what she's saying here. So difficult to work with. Okay. Work and the money. Okay, it was like a dog eat dog world, she's saying here. And a lot of the judgment that was going on about her as well. But it was money, she's saying. Okay. And what about the tablets site, you know, starting on the tablets and alcohol? Yeah, very up and down, very up and down. In a way, she's saying, I wish that I hadn't done it, but it helped me to get through the emotional time that I was going through. Okay. So in 53, big films, you were in some big films, even more of a sex symbol. And also your makeup artists at the time came out with the idea of the dark arched eyebrows, pale skin, red lipstick and the beauty mark that came into being. How did you feel about that? Loved it. Loved the look. Loved the look, she's saying. And what about the films? Yeah, things were starting to come together again, she's saying there. Things were starting to come together. Again, that love and hearts. Okay, so again, loving that time, that year. Or the look especially, and being into films, she's saying. Okay, 45... In 54 and 55, there were clashes again with Fox. Your contract had not changed since 1950, so you were paid less and had limited roles, and there were other problems there too. How did you feel about that? Let's come to these. Again, a very up and down time with them, financially, the emotional side of it, she's saying. Again, a very stressful time. Very stressful time. just wanted to walk away from it all, she's saying. But in her heart, she knew that acting was what she wanted to do. Okay, so January the 14th, 1954, you married Joe DiMaggio. You did various bits in Japan because you honeymooned there, and then he did certain bits there, and you were singing your songs from the movies to US Marines over there. You had a settlement with Fox in March 54. Then came the 7-year itch. This was when your famous iconic white dress with the air blowing up from a subway grate was taken, and the film was released in 55. But that marked the end of your marriage to Joe because of jealousy, controlling and abusive behaviour from him. Okay, so how did you feel about, first of all, marrying Joe? Which ones are you drawing me to? These ones again? Okay, marrying Joe. Very emotional time. Marrying him, and the Japan time as well, and with what was going on with Fox, she's saying. What about your 7-year itch film, the iconic white dress moment that you're mainly famous for? Blossoming Abundance, yeah, it opened things up for her there as well. She wants me to come in with one of these as well. Okay, she doesn't want me to use those, so let me put them down a minute. She wants me to come back to these. The famous white dress moment. Oh, okay, it was the start of, again, because of how successful it was. She loved it, but she said, but Joe, things started to spiral from there because of the attention I was getting. Okay. And what about your divorce with Joe? Yeah, a very concerning time, worrying and concerning time. Felt very trapped here, imprisonment. She wasn't in prison, but she's saying felt very, because of the control and the abusiveness, felt very stuck because I was starting to shine, but then he became the problem. She's saying throughout my life, whenever I tried to go forward, I would take one step forward and it seemed I was knocked back 6. Okay, she's saying I would try and get somewhere and then somebody would knock me back. So that very always pushing forward, but then being knocked back, and after a time you don't want to keep going forward because you don't want to be knocked back again, she's saying. Okay. So, you still continued your relationship despite divorce proceedings, but you dated Marlon Brando and Arthur Miller. You had an affair with Arthur Miller. It became serious, and you married him in 56. So what about your marriage to Arthur? A happy occasion. I was happy. But still miserable. Okay. Still emotionally not satisfied, she's saying. I was happy on the surface, but deep down it was security. She's saying it was security, but still not what I not what I felt my soul wanted, she's saying here. Okay. In 56, you were nominated for Best Actress for the Golden Globe, but you didn't get that. Also, you became more dependent on pharmaceuticals and it escalated. There was miscarriages, ectopic pregnancy in mid-57, overdose in 58 where you were hospitalised. What about that sort of time? Yeah, a lot of movement, a lot of toing and froing, feeling very alone again. Again, not where I wanted my life to be going. Yeah, always sort of looking out for more. What she desired, she just didn't seem to get it. It was, again, she's saying all those knockbacks. What about the pregnancies? Because you never did have children. What about children and, you know, the miscarriages? Yeah, she would have loved children. I would have liked to have had children, she's saying, and a family. Yeah, a family, but it just didn't pan out that way, she's saying. Okay. So in July 58, you returned to Hollywood and starred in Some Like It Hot. But again, that was fraught with problems and backstabbing from co-stars, etc. What about that? Yeah, a lot of harsh words said. She's saying a lot of battles, a lot of, you know, a battle of words, mind games going on. She's saying very fraught time. Yeah, especially by the male stars at that time, who again got paid more money. And again, feeling let down. And another opportunity to shine, but I didn't shine. She's saying I did, in the sense of how the movie was, but, you know, without it all being put together. She's saying behind the scenes, again, I wasn't shining. It was the male domination there. So feeling a little bit let down again, fed up, sorry, not bored, fed up with how all the backstabbing again. Okay, so in 60 and 62, an affair with a co-star, you had health problems increased, you went on a detox, hospital detox, divorced Miller, still friends again with DiMaggio, dated Frank Sinatra, moved back to California and bought a house there in early 62. So what about sort of 60, 62 time then? Yeah, the health problems, sort of hiding away. Again, just feeling, she's saying again, just feeling like shunned, being watched by people as well. Okay, but not stalked. She means like there was always somebody watching her to make sure that she was okay, she's saying. What about your divorce to Miller? A lot of arguments. Okay, a lot of arguments, a lot of conflict there. Not abuse, but just like a lot of arguments started coming in. What about dating Frank Sinatra? Again, an up and down time. A lot of up and down times. Definitely here. Okay, anything to say here? Yeah, it just felt like walking away from it all, and also just getting that rest and it says rest and rejuvenation, but that sort of that detox time, buying the house, settling down here as well. Okay, so you received a Golden Globe Award for World Film Favourite, but there were still ongoing health issues still in May. On May the 19th, 1962, you sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President, to JFK in New York. How did you feel about that? Happy with the Golden Globe Award. Okay. The attraction very much between her and JFK, she's saying here. Very strong attraction. A lot of fun, but again, a lot of talk, a lot of backstabbing going on as well. Okay, I am going to come into JFK later in a mo. but I just wanted to ask her about the Golden Globe that she was happy with, and the singing the happy birthday as well. Okay, so in June 62, more clashes with Fox, who fired you and sued you for damages. What do you have to say about that? Yeah, again, men, male driven, she's saying. Things there revealed, she's saying. A lot of two-faced people. Two-faced. Money, greed, debt, fraud, blackmail and corruption. So again, two-faced because of the money, etc., etc., she's saying here. Okay. So age 36, on August the 4th, 1962, you were at home. Your housekeeper stayed overnight. In the early hours on the 5th, she woke at 3 a.m. and sensed something was wrong. Saw a light under your door, but the door was locked. She got no response. At 3:50, she called your psychiatrist, who broke a window to the bedroom where he found you deceased, and at 4:25 pronounced you as dead. However, it came out that you died between 8:30 to 10:30 p.m. or 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on August 4th. Toxicology report was death caused by acute barbiturate poisoning. There were empty medicine bottles, especially sleeping tablets, next to the bed. Accidental overdose was ruled out because of the high levels of toxins in your body. And due to your frequent depressions, unpredictable mood changes, severe fears and lack of foul play, the coroner classified your death as probable suicide, as there was no suicide note found. Your funeral was on the 8th of August 62. Since your death, there have been several conspiracies: suicide, accidental overdose, or even murder. The murder seemed to come in from mainstream attention from a publication in 73 of a biography written about you, that it sort of trickled in through that. And in 1982, there was talk of a criminal investigation being opened, but there was no evidence of foul play still. Okay, let's just see what you have to say about that. So let's look at the... okay. Suicide. Was it suicide? Let's come to these. Suicide. Okay, peace. Yes, you're at peace. Finding that peace as well. Okay. Now. Peace now. Oh, and actually it is on the 4th. Peace on the 4th. Okay. Okay, suicide. What fell out then? Hidden, hideaway, concealed, felt trapped. Okay. Fear, distress, terrified, threatened. Okay, so something had obviously happened then, you're saying. Spy, secret, surveillance, knew too much, knows too much. Okay, so this is sort of coming into light about the fact that it could have been a murder. I don't know how, as the door was locked, but never mind. We have these situations where things can be done. Okay. So suicide. Stranger turning up. Somebody turning up. So no, I don't feel it was suicide. Okay. Accidental overdose. Not those ones. Okay. Okay, so I'm coming back to these a moment. We haven't had a murder card out or anything here. So it could have been that she was being threatened in that fear, being surveillance, somebody following her here, feeling trapped, so wanting to, you know, taking the tablets to find that peace away from that situation. Okay, that is, I'm not saying she was murdered, I'm just saying that that could have been the factor as to why she took her life. Okay, what about anything else on this? Inside building structure. Okay, that's just her saying that she was inside the building. Okay, now I was shuffling saying, were you murdered? Because I do have in here drugs, suicide. Okay, but the card that's come out is planned murder, foul play and assassination. Okay, so there you go. Anything else on this? Okay, plead, beg, bargain, negotiate. I'm still asking her, was she murdered? Because it could just be the planned, okay, that she was planning to take her life. But you don't plead, beg or negotiate with somebody if you're about to be murdered or foul play. Okay, this card has ritual, secret society, cult or sacrifice. So I think she's more drawing me to the word sacrifice here. Okay, crime of passion, anger, jealousy, cheating. Okay. Meeting, others present, involved. Okay. So message as a sort of, as in a warning, she's saying, warning. Yeah, the destruction and lies. Okay, and lies, destruction and liar. Okay, I mean, in this deck, I have got the chance for it to be, you know, suicide, self-inflicted, drugs, medication, poison. What else here? So, I mean, there's plenty here, body failure here, but, you know, you've seen the cards that come out, so... It looks like it was something else involved. How did they get into, if it was somebody else involved, if it was foul play, then how did they get into the room? How did they get into your room without the housekeeper knowing them? Money being exchanged, payoff. Was it an assassin then, obviously, I assume? Sudden wealth again, so money here, perhaps they tried to pay her off, keep quiet, we'll pay you a large sum of money, but then she perhaps said no. Is that what you're saying? Lovers. Okay, the lovers. I keep asking, how did they get into your room? And just thief. Okay, so broke in. Perhaps broke in through the window or something here and then locked the door and tried bargaining with her or drugged her. Or it doesn't seem like she took her own life anyway, put it that way. Okay, spent too much time on that, my lovely. Okay, so what about the JFK affair? And it was rumoured that I don't think there was ever any concrete evidence that you had an affair with Jack and also his brother Bobby. So what about that? Let's look at Bobby first. Okay, this is sort of a card of being left out in the cold. Perhaps he felt left out because her interest was more in Jack. That's me just assuming. That's me surmising my alleged opinion. But it could be that he seemed a bit cold towards her. Okay, one more on Jack. Bobby, sorry. Family. So perhaps the interest was there, but then he sort of turned his back on her because of his family. I don't know if he was married at the time. I don't know if he had a family. But it could be just because of the family, the Kennedys as a whole. Now she's bringing me the daughter spirit. Are you saying that your death was something to do with Bobby then? Bobby was behind this or something there. I'm not saying he was behind it, but daughter spirit is my death, so... again, money. Okay. Because of the government there. Okay, so it seems that there was something there with Bobby. Witness, evidence, proof, an occasion, an event, party, gathering, get together. The feeling she's given me is that something was instigated more on Bobby's side than Jack's. Okay, what about Jack then? She's saying he was very a peaceful person. Okay. But fearful at things being revealed. Especially in the social circle as well. Okay, she's drawing me to some other cards that are behind me. Yeah. So Jack, yeah. Let down, disappointed, betrayal, deceit, stabbed in the back. Okay. Are you saying that he felt that or you felt that? Bring me out a male or female card to just say. Female. She felt very let down and disappointed and betrayed by him. Okay, so what about... okay. As I'm shuffling this, looking at this woman on here, she looks more like Jack's wife, Jackie. Was it Jackie? Perhaps she found out and... you know, gave him an ultimatum. I know he was renowned for extramarital affairs, I think. Perhaps she found out and was like, you know, perhaps Marilyn thought he was going to stick up for her, but didn't. Stuck by Jackie. Hidden rumours, gossip, lies, things not as they seem. Yeah, okay. Upset, hurt and confused. She thought he had her back, but then there wasn't. Fake, false, two-faced, unreliable, dishonest. Okay, one last one on Bobby. Hot and cold with him. Again, that going cold. Anything else? Endings, leavings, separation, irreconcilable differences. I'll get it out in a minute. So again, I feel, although I don't know anything about it that I have read or anything, I haven't gone into Bobby. I don't know anything about him other than it was rumoured that she had an affair with both. It seems from what Marilyn's bringing through, is that I feel this is Jackie. I feel that Jackie found out, and then, but there's something I feel that Bobby did the sorted it out. Let's just leave it at that. Sorted it out. Body, yes. Like medical body, yes. Okay. Things being revealed. And mother, about the union. Okay, so something was found out by a woman, whether it was Jackie or if he was married, and the rest you've seen. Okay, so what about Elton John's, last question, Elton John's Candle in the Wind song about you in 1973. What do you have to say about that? Lovely to be remembered. Okay, lovely to be remembered by him, and in that song, because it was very famous song as well. She's saying goodbye Norma Jean, and then of course it was used for Diana. Yeah, remembering her death here as well. Okay, one final message to us all before we close this. Thank you for thinking of me, she's saying there. Thank you for thinking of me. She's drawing me to these cards as well, so I just want to bring in one of these. Believe in the impossible. Meaning work through, you know, she had a lot of fears. She had a very sort of up and down life with a lot of problems, but she's saying believe in the impossible, follow your dreams. Here. Okay, my lovely, I'm going to leave this with you. Thank you very much for connecting with us, and thank you for your opinion on what's on the internet and the questions that you've answered. It's been very interesting. I found it very interesting, even if just one other person finds it interesting. I hope it's helped. Love and light.